The battle for hot hatch supremacy has been smouldering for quite some time now, and at the leading edge of that battle, the likes of the new Audi RS3 and the recently updated Mercedes-Benz A45 AMG are achieving between 270 and 280 kilowatts of maximum power, which makes the 228 kilowatts offered by this Honda Civic Type R seem just a little tame. But of course, there is a big difference between these cars because the Honda has to make do with front-wheel drive only, which begs the question, has this car bitten off more than it can chew?
I suppose it depends on whether the Type R should be considered a rival for the RS3 and the A45 AMG. With a 50 kilowatt plus deficit and only the front wheels transferring the urge, the Type R is at a clear disadvantage, and frankly putting down 228 kilowatt of power via two wheels appears to be a recipe for wheel spin and bad road manners. Honda's engineers don't agree. They've added a limited slip diff and a new front axle configuration to prevent wheel spin and boost traction, while the turbo engine delivers its wares with much of the enthusiasm of Honda's normally aspirated engines, but without their peakiness. All of which suggests that the Type R might have a few surprises up its sleeve. The exterior treatment isn't one of those.
Styling is very much a subjective issue, and from my point of view, this car is just a little bit over the top. But the difference is that those wings, spoilers and splitters have a very real role to play because they optimize the aerodynamics and therefore the handling of the car.
The effect is dramatic and turns heads, but you can forget about arriving anywhere without attracting attention. Any petrolhead within visible range will soon be crowding around the Honda, snapping selfies and admiring the hot hatch's steroid-sculpted lines. It's also true that the Type R looks the high-performance part, leaving no doubt about its dynamic intentions. And the interior continues that theme.
The cabin of this Type R is as outrageous as the exterior, but it does suit the character of the car. Typically Civic, this two-tier instrument layout, but not typically Civic, the red accents and the very racy interior treatment. But I have to say, once you're seated behind this grippy steering wheel, everything feels just right.
The high-backed, sculpted seats offer support in all the right places, even when cornering hard, and the driving position is just perfect. The steering wheel and pedals are neatly aligned, and the stubby gear lever is within easy reach. As much as the focus here is on performance, the Type R also has all the mod cons: a color touchscreen for the infotainment system, Bluetooth audio and telephony, climate control, keyless starting, and electric everything are only some of the highlights. And let's not forget that this is a 5-door hatch with decent accommodation at the rear and a fairly capacious boot, proving that fast can be practical too.
The heart beating under the bonnet of the Type R is an impressive piece of kit. It's a 2-litre 4-cylinder all-aluminium unit, and it's equipped with a turbocharger, which is a bit of a break with Type R tradition. Maximum power, 228 kilowatt, but perhaps even more impressive, the torque peak of 400 Newton meters. The biggest feat of all, though, is the fact that that power is transferred to the front wheels only. The gearbox, a 6-speed manual unit.
It's true that the turbo engine lacks the free-revving nature and peaky power band of the classic Type R screamers, which demanded full use of the rev range in every gear. But the 2-litre does deliver its wares with a linear insistence that confirms the car's dynamic intentions.
Any concerns that this Type R might be more show than go are very quickly dispelled once you get behind the wheel and actually drive the car. The engine pulls like a steam train from very low down, never lets up at all, and the gearbox is a real treat. Very quick, very sharp, very precise action indeed. 0 to 100 time 5.7 seconds, top speed 270 kilometers an hour, but in reality this car always feels a lot quicker than it is.
The ride is firm and taut as it should be, accentuated by the low-profile 235/35 19-inch Continental Sport Contact 6 tyres. On bumpy surfaces, that ride, together with a relatively short wheelbase, can make the Type R feel a little boisterous, but huge levels of grip keep things tidy, even when giving it stick.
There's a lot more to this Type R than straight line speed, and in fact its true talent only come to the fore when you start pushing it through a set of twists and turns. There's no unruly understeer, no clumsy cornering. In fact, this car feels absolutely precise, surgical even on turn-in, and it has a lot of confidence, a lot of composure, never mind how hard you drive.
The limited slip diff is a key contributor, encouraging late braking and pulling the Honda through the corners under power so that it almost magically sticks to the chosen line. And for once, the steering offers plenty of feel despite its electric assistance. The more you drive the Type R, the better it gets.
This latest Honda Civic Type R is a classic in the making. There might be, and there are, more muscular ultra hatches out there, but this car exudes a certain magic and engagement that is completely and utterly addictive. It's a car that encourages you to explore the limits, but sets those limits so high that it's almost impossible to stretch them. Admittedly, at almost 600,000 rands, this is not a cheap car, but the thrills per rand ratio is so high that it's probably money well spent.
An eager turbo engine, clever steering geometry and a limited slip diff ensure that the Civic Type R makes full use of all that urge and still steers with precision and composure. Handling is race car taut and engagement levels high. A flashy but full house interior offers more space than expected, but the focus is very much on dynamics, with refinement taking a back seat, and the exterior treatment isn't exactly subtle either.